How to create stunning caves in Blender, beginner-friendly tutorial. Welcome to this step-by-step guide on creating realistic caves in Blender. Whether you're a beginner or looking to refine your skills, this tutorial will walk you through the entire process of designing a cave environment with ease. By the end, you'll have a stunning 3D cave you can be proud of. Let's dive in. Step 1. Setting the ground plane. To start, add a plane to represent the ground of your cave. Go to the Add menu at the top, then choose Mesh Plane. A plane is a flat, 2D surface that serves as the foundation for our cave. Scale the plane by pressing S and dragging your mouse until it's the size you want. This will give us enough space to shape the ground later. Don't worry if it looks plain now. We'll make it much more interesting as we go. Step 2. Preparing the ground with loop cuts. Next, we'll divide the ground into smaller sections using loop cuts. Loop cuts are essential for adding detail to any surface. Press Ctrl+R, hover over the plane, and scroll your mouse wheel to increase the number of cuts. Aim for a grid-like structure where the individual faces are quads, or four-sided polygons. These evenly spaced sections will help us add realistic bumps and variations later. Think of it like laying the groundwork for a detailed landscape. Step 3. Adding the cave walls. Now, let's build the walls of the cave. Add another plane by following the same steps. Add Mesh Plane. Rotate it by pressing R and moving your mouse until it stands upright. Position it beside the ground plane using the G key to grab and move it. You can adjust the shape of the wall by selecting and moving individual vertices, edges, or faces. This is where you can get creative. Imagine how the walls of a real cave might curve or lean. Step 4. Detailing the walls with loop cuts. Just like the ground, we'll use loop cuts to add detail to the walls. Press Ctrl+R on the wall plane and add several cuts to divide it into quads. These cuts allow us to deform the walls naturally. The more cuts you add, the more control you'll have over shaping the cave's surfaces. Think of this step as preparing the canvas for adding bumps, cracks, or other imperfections. Step 5. Creating organic shapes with proportional editing. To make the cave feel more natural, we'll use proportional editing. Activate it by pressing O on your keyboard. Proportional editing lets you move one part of the mesh while gently influencing nearby vertices. For example, if you grab one vertex and pull it up, the surrounding area will follow, creating smooth hills or dips. Adjust the radius of influence with the mouse scroll wheel for precise control. Use this technique to add randomness to the ground and walls. This step is all about making it look like a real cave. Step 6. Adding modifiers for detail. Modifiers are powerful tools in Blender that can transform your model without permanently altering it. First, add a subdivision surface modifier to smooth out the entire structure. This modifier divides the mesh into smaller polygons, making it look more refined. Next, apply a displacement modifier to add realistic bumps and irregularities. Displacement uses a texture to push and pull the surface, simulating the uneven look of rock. Go to the modifier settings, choose a texture that resembles a rocky surface, and adjust the strength to get the right level of detail. If the displacement looks too extreme, scale it down until it feels natural. These two modifiers work together to bring your cave to life. Step 7. Adding a texture to the cave. Finally, we'll add a texture to make the cave look realistic. Switch to the Shading tab, where you can apply materials to your model. Select the ground first and create a new material. Add a rocky texture using an image or procedural node setup. Adjust the scale so the texture looks proportional to the cave. Repeat the process for the walls, ensuring they match the ground's look. For extra realism, tweak the roughness and bump settings in the material properties. Rough surfaces scatter light, giving the cave a more rugged, weathered appearance. Texturing is where your cave starts to feel like a real-world environment. Step 8. Lighting with HDRI. Now that your cave has textures, let's add lighting to bring it to life. One of the easiest ways to light a scene is by using an HDRI, which provides realistic, environment-based lighting. Head to the World Properties tab and click on the color next to background. Choose Environment Texture and load an HDRI file. You can download free HDRIs from Polyhaven. Look for ones with soft, diffused lighting to match the cave's atmosphere. Once loaded, you'll see your cave lit with realistic light and reflections. You can rotate the HDRI by adjusting the Z-axis in the mapping node to find the perfect angle for your scene. This step adds depth and realism to your model. And that's it. You've just created a stunning cave in Blender, step by step. From setting up the groundwork to adding textures and lighting, you now have a solid foundation to build on. Experiment with different shapes, textures, and HDRIs to make your cave unique. If you found this tutorial helpful, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to explore more Blender tips and tricks in our other videos. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy blending.